Alex. Shout out to the elite fleet that's coming over from my other channel. And to everyone who is new here, welcome to Alex Sports Talk and Sports Book, where we're going to give polarizing opinions on sports. And I'm going to put some money in y'all pocket by being one of the best sports cappers on YouTube. With that being said, I wanted to make this video anyway, and I figured it would fit better on this channel. So it's going to be the first video on this channel, which is where I'm going to discuss how LeBron James is being a bad dad by setting Bronny James up for failure. All right, first of all, I want to explain to you guys this. You have to understand LeBron James is a narcissist. Everything about his personality is narcissistic. And some of it's not his fault. When you were deemed the chosen one before you even left high school, you were kind of bound to become a narcissist. But I want you guys to understand something. I keep seeing people say when it comes to this topic, well, if you had the ability to put your son on, wouldn't you do it? This is the equivalent of getting your son a job. This is not the equivalent of just getting your son a job, because the problem is this job is performance-based. The NBA is a performance-based job. Y'all keep talking about nepotism. I hate when black people learn a new word because y'all never reply it right. All right? Nepotism is how Jerry Jones hired Stephen Jones to be the COO and director of player personnel for the Cowboys. That's nepotism because Jerry Jones owns the Cowboys, which means the only one who could fire Stephen Jones is Jerry Jones, which he would never do because that's his son. That's nepotism, okay? The Walton family that owns Walmart, that is nepotism because they own Walmart, meaning the only ones who could fire their kids are themselves. It is not performance-based. All right? Because the family owns the business. LeBron James does not own the Lakers. LeBron James does not own the NBA. What LeBron James did was favoritism. He basically exercised the fact that he's won on the Lakers. He has a lot of influence on the Lakers because he's one of the best players of all time. And in some of them pictures, it looked like he's smashing Jeannie Buss. No, I'm just trying to get y'all to laugh. But seriously, getting back to it. What LeBron exercised was favoritism. And he said, okay, Jeannie, if you want me to come back and play for your franchise, but Jeannie's going to run the Lakers into the ground. Because you shouldn't even want LeBron to come back. You should have let LeBron go back to Cleveland. He's in the twilight of his years. He's never winning another championship. You just gave a 40-year-old a max contract. So now you have injury-prone Anthony Davis, who you're stuck with, LeBron James, who you're stuck with, and now you're also stuck with his sorry-ass son. But I digress, okay? What LeBron James did was he asked Jeannie to do him a favor because of his stature in the league, and that favor was, can you hire my son? So she did it. All right, they can play all day like they did it. They drafted Bronny because it's what LeBron James wanted. LeBron James just had to be the one to be the first one to play with his son, which further goes back into his narcissism. Okay? This has nothing to do with Bronny. It has everything to do with LeBron. LeBron wants this just so he can have something else to say he's the first to do. It bothers LeBron that he's never going to be viewed as better than Jordan. It bothers LeBron he's never going to win as many championships as Jordan did. He's never going to win as many MVPs as Jordan did. He's never going to win as many finals MVPs as Jordan did. He's not going to catch Jordan, and that bothers him. So his narcissism makes him want to do everything else, right, that he can do outside of those two things to catch Jordan, like become the leading scorer in the league, be the first one to play with your own son, all right, be the first one to make a billion while still actively playing. He wants to do everything else. Now, what's funny about LeBron is he made a whole movie about Space Jam where the whole entire point and plot of that show, the whole point of that movie, was for LeBron to learn a lesson about embracing what your son actually wants to do and what he's good at, and not just forcing him to do what you want him to do and what you're good at. And he's learned nothing from that, from his own film, because he's a narcissist. Because if he learned anything from his own film, he would have left his son in college. Let me tell you guys something. Not only did Bronny average like 4 points per game coming off the bench, by the way, at USC, which is in the Pac-12 that doesn't even exist anymore and has been a trash basketball program for at least like the last 5 years. And he couldn't even start there. All right? So he was coming off the bench in college. He wasn't even the best player on his own team in high school. A father who cares would say, okay, son, we're going to keep you in this training and development program until you actually get good enough to perform. A father who's an egotistical maniac says, I want to be the first one to ever say that I played with my son at the same time in my prime, so you're coming to the league now, even though you clearly weren't ready. Bronny was actually transferring out of USC because he couldn't even win the starting job there. How the hell does that translate to the NBA? You guys have to understand it does not. He's not good enough. All right? And again, this is a performance-based league, so here's the problem. Because LeBron does not own the Lakers, because he does not own the NBA, he cannot protect Bronny. Bronny has to perform. Now, if he forces Bronny to be active on the Lakers so that he can be the first one to play with his son, which he's most likely going to do, but Bronny should be in college, but he's not. He should be in the G League, but he won't. He'll be an active member of the Lakers. Every time people see Bronny, they are going to absolutely abuse that kid. If y'all remember what happened when Lonzo Ball first came into the league, right? And LeVar Ball was doing all that hype about how good his sons was, and he was going on the press tour. He was on First Take. He was on Undisputed. When Lonzo came in the league, NBA players was on his ass, all right? They were trying to bust his ass. It's going to be that times 10 with Bronny. We just seen Jaylen Brown in the clip at this video talking about how Bronny really isn't good enough to be in the league. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. LeBron even knows it deep down. He's doing this for his own ego. This is not for Bronny, because when Bron retires in the next 2 years, who's going to keep him on the Lakers? Who's going to keep him in the league? Again, it's a performance-based league. Bronny cannot perform at an NBA level. He can't. He's not good enough. Even if you're going to be a 3-and-D guy, all right? He can't consistently hit the three. You cannot be in the NBA just playing D. His D is not even good enough for him to just be in the league off of defense alone. He's been getting cooked in the summer league. He can't even be a 3-and-D guy because he can't consistently hit the three. He has no purpose. He's undersized, average. Like, come on now. If Bronny cared about his son, he would have told his son to earn it out the mud, right? And he would have told his son to stay in college because he's not ready yet. Or he would have did what Michael Jordan did and just accepted that his sons aren't that good and just let them pursue whatever path they want to pursue. Let your son be his own man. He doesn't have to be a mini-me just because he's a junior. That's what Jordan did. People trying to play Jordan talking about well, Jordan's son is a nerd. First of all, there's nothing wrong with being a nerd. Nerds get paid. All right, you have less than a 0.00001% chance of making it to the league. If you're a nerd, 9 out of 10 times you're making six figures because you're going to be college educated, probably in the STEM field. So there's nothing wrong with being a nerd. But even greater than that, Michael didn't feel the need to force his sons to be something they couldn't be or weren't good enough to be just to make him feel better. We even seen recently with Kanye Anthony when they were talking to him about his recruitment and where he wanted to go and play college ball at. Kanye literally said, one of the biggest things I like about the way Syracuse is recruiting me is it feels like Syracuse is recruiting me because of me and not because of who my father is. Bronny James has to know deep down that the Lakers only want him because of who his dad is. It's not off of his own merit. That should bother him. Okay? That should bother him. He shouldn't even want that. I would not want that. I would not want my dad to force me into a position that's performance-based, you understand what I'm saying to you? That I'm not good enough to do. Because all my dad is doing is embarrassing me. And in this case, NBA games are played on national television. So instead of just being embarrassed in the firm or embarrassed at the warehouse or embarrassed in the office or wherever it is my dad got me a regular job at, I have to go and get embarrassed on national TV. Right? And then I can't go on social media because on my Twitter, on my Instagram, on my Facebook, everyone's clowning me for being trash and not being good enough to make the league. Come on now, you got cats out here like Judah Mintz. Judah Mintz played for Syracuse, averaged like 16-something points per game, like 5-something assists in the ACC, in the best basketball conference in the country. Went undrafted, 6'4", averaging 16, starting, 5 assists. Undrafted. But y'all gonna really sit here and make an argument to me that people saying who Bronny doesn't deserve to be in the league are haters? He doesn't. Then people try to use false equivalency arguments. Oh, well, when Phil Jackson was in New York, he drafted Frank Ntilikina. Frank Ntilikina wasn't that good. False equivalency. Frank Ntilikina was playing in a pro league. Bronny was playing in college. Not with grown men over in France and Europe, which has been producing massive numbers of NBA players. False equivalency. They didn't want to talk about other guys where there's other guys getting drafted who aren't scoring that much. The majority of those guys played in pro leagues. That's why people look past them not scoring that much. Bronny did not. Also, the majority of those guys got starter level minutes. And if they were coming off the bench, again, they were in a pro league. This dude's coming off the bench in college, averaging less than 5 points per game. Cut the cap. Cut the cap. All right, and I don't want to hear about how, there's a whole bunch of other players in the league. Bronny's not the first player who wasn't the best, who got drafted over people who were better than him. Maybe he's not, but he's the first one to get this level of media attention. Bronny got a $7 million NIL deal, coming off the bench in college, averaging 4 points per game. We all know that has never happened before. And it only happened because he's LeBron James' son. Bronny also got $5 million guaranteed from the Lakers. $5 million guaranteed in his contract as the 55th pick. That only happened because he was LeBron's son. Stop trying to find all these false equivalencies and all these other reasons that this stuff happened. Okay, it's happened before. No, it has not. You've never seen a player on the bench sign a $7.5 million NIL deal. Has not happened. Not in basketball. Has not happened. A 55th round draft pick who averaged 4 points per game, getting drafted to the Lakers, where his dad happens to play and getting a $5 million guaranteed contract. Man, come on, y'all. Then people want to talk about generational wealth. Well, why would you be mad for him building generational wealth? First of all, if I've already built generational wealth, why does my son need to build generational wealth doing the same thing I'm doing? I've already built generational wealth. So I have the type of wealth where if my son is good at building computer games, let's go back to Space Jam 2, I can give him enough money to start a damn studio. And that's real generational wealth, because you don't have to be blessed by God and touched by the hands of Jesus himself to be able to create video games. You can learn to code. Anyone can learn to make a video game. Anyone cannot just sprout up, be 6'4", be able to dribble and shoot from half court and jump 45 inches in the air. Everyone doesn't have that ability, and you can't teach it, but everyone can be taught to code. So why not take your generational wealth, get your sons into something that can actually be passed down to their kids and build it that way? Or take your generational wealth, actually own a company like Jerry Jones did, actually own a company like the Waltons do, and then just assign your son as COO of that company, so you don't have to ever worry about him being fired. That's generational wealth. Basketball, a $5 million guaranteed contract in this economy is not generational wealth, especially when you live in LA. $5 million in LA is gone like that. We see athletes go broke all the time. So again, Bron has built generational wealth, not Bronny. And if you want to build continued generational wealth for your family, you better start a damn business. Because history has shown your kids are not going to be as good at sports as you are. 9 out of 10 times. Most professional athletes' kids stink. They are not good. They are trash. Garbage. So if you're relying on, okay, I'm going to have a son, then my son's going to have a son, then his son's going to have a son, they're all going to go pro. Your family going to be broke ASAP. And I know LeBron's smarter than that. So you want to build generational wealth, you start a damn business. You don't force your son to go in a league that he's not good enough to go into, get embarrassed on national television, and have a bunch of haters who are pissed because they know he shouldn't be there. Other NBA players are already saying your son doesn't belong before the regular season even starts. That should be embarrassing. You should feel bad for doing this to your child. So no, if I was a father, I would not force my son into a position he wasn't ready for. And that's not good parenting. And if any of you are doing it, I advise you stop, because you shouldn't be. Talking about some nepotism. How can you have nepotism when you don't own the company? I wish they stopped teaching y'all Negroes new words. Anyways, y'all, that's my thoughts on the Bronny James situation. At the end of the day, dude's like 8 for 35 in the summer league. He can't score. He's not an elite defender. He's undersized. This is not going to work out. All LeBron is doing by forcing Bronny in the league is embarrassing him. I know I'm going to get hate comments. You don't know what you're talking about. That's fine. That's fine. But you know what I ain't going to get? Anyone factually refuting anything that I've said in this video. So that's my thoughts on that, y'all. Welcome to the channel. Make sure y'all checking out the shorts tab. Make sure y'all checking out the community tab, because that's where I'm going to be posting the parlays. In the meantime, y'all, I am Alex and I am out. Peace.